vilification of symbols and rituals. Religious symbols' meanings, as given by the religionists themselves, are discredited and not mentioned in order to draw attention to the same types of symbols that are used by bad groups, and in order to attempt to charge the religionists are evil or part of the negative group that they draw a connection or a parallel to, because of both use similar types of symbols, even though they are not exactly the same, or have similarity in some of the rituals or so forth. Christian ministers on anti-Mormon propaganda tours will point to the stars on Mormon temples to suggest that Mormons are Satanist, devilish, and up to no good. When to get into their temples, LDS members in good standings are asked by their leaders to follow Christ, keep His commandments, be good, be loving and kind. These same tactics to vilify the LDS symbols and temple ceremonies, however, would get the Christians who are doing this, would get their own symbols in trouble if they were mirrored back to the Christians themselves. They would also make historical biblical early Christianity appear to be occultic, satanic, revolutionarious, Masonic, and evil, when earlier Christians aren't, though historic Christianity has its problems and controversies and questionable historical situations. Yes, we all know that each religion has people that did controversial type things, but it's not fair to generalize that because of the few, the whole religion is therefore bad. That's what the disinformation tactics that are being used, though, does in generalizations and stereotyping. Under the anti-Mormon Christian ministers' own disinformation propaganda tactics, their own symbols, the fish triangle, all-seeing eye in a triangle, rabbits in a circle, and other hand gestures, prayer gestures, praise gestures, and rituals could, under said tactics, connect the same Christian ministers with the very same occult and satanic connections that they claim that they are exposing in Mormonism. In fact, what sometimes happens is what is the desired and end result of the one-worlders propaganda disinformation machine. People often lose their faith in religion as a whole, as it is the one-worlders' goals that they do, as they seek to, quote, corrupt the youth, destroy their ruggedness, and get them away from religion, end quote. For when some LDS people fall for the anti-Mormon Christian propaganda, they are also likely to fall further away from all religions when they see that the same types of reasons why not to believe in Mormonism are being used as reasons why not to believe in religions in general. For atheistic communism have also vilified Christian symbols too, their doctrines and rituals. For example, the sacrament under the vilification tactic would become a barbaric, bloody, cannibalistic meal of eating and drinking the blood of their God, or eating the body and blood and drinking the blood of Christ, because the sacrament represents Christ's suffering. The all-seeing eye in a triangle that represents the Trinity would become the connection to the occult and the Illuminati order, the Illuminati one world order plots. Thus, under these disinformation tactics, anti-Mormon Christians' own symbols wouldn't be able to pass their own test. The result is that people leave the LDS faith to then be propagandized into leaving Christianity and all religions to then become atheists or even worse. Or that Christians that become exposed to disinformation against religions then leave, thus resulting in the desired aim, that of getting people away from religion. Why? so that they can bring about further corruption and spoilings of the nations. Doing this by also getting the once good people addicted to drugs and the crimes that surround drugs that we know that the one rulers are helping to bring into the U.S. and other nations. They're doing this to finance their operations and to add to the decay and decompositions of that capitalist state, says Castro to his followers, and to bring about the downfall of the U.S. and other nations, and to numb and dumb down the people to what is going on, causing them to be walking around in a drunken, drugged up daze to the point where they don't care about their freedoms and what's happening to their nations and the world. To where they only care about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or having a good time, seeking entertainment all of the time. That's where the one worlders' other distractions come into play, for the one worlders' news and media outlets keep pumping out disinformation, hardly ever reporting information about threats to our freedoms, but instead they pump out distractions and entertainments that continue to corrupt the youth and get them away from religion, or that get religionists to be so distracted in fighting each other over different issues that they don't see what's coming. And what is coming? A one world government, globalization, New World Order, World Bank, World Monetary System, World Court, World Food Outlets, World Corporationism, and the destruction of the U.S. economy, national sovereignties, the destruction of the U.S. Constitution, Bill of Rights, the destruction of the family as a basic union, because parents will be forced to limit the size of their families like in China. Ultimately, the destruction of our freedom. So we're being distracted from realizing and seeing this in these different ways by different propaganda, disinformation tactics that are being used. Religionists need to be able to see through the hateful, negative, harmful, and double-standard disinformation propaganda tactics now being used to vilify and demonize religion in general in order to set aside religious issues in order to work together. Mormons and Christians, Christians and Muslims, Catholics and Protestants, etc., etc., vice versa, so that we all can unite under the banner of freedom and stop the further decay of our freedoms and threats to our families that the one rulers are progressing towards in their plots to distract us in order to bring about globalization, world federalism, New World Order, or one world government. I close with a thought from one of Covert Cosmic Cruiser's songs, "Why Aren't All Nations Free?" Portions of their songs. Do we really need a one-world government over a world community? Can the UN really police the world effectively? Or will all nations be enslaved under tyranny? Religions of the world, why fight polemically? Why can't we all just get along instead of going to war? Why can't we all just fall down on our knees, on the floor? Pray for peace to block out hate. That's what this world needs now, before it's too late.
Religions of the world, why fight polemically? Why can't we all just